Welcome back. To help address the growing needs of New York City during this coronavirus pandemic, the mayor has turned to a man who dedicated most of his life to serving and protecting this city. We're talking about former NYPD Commissioner James O'Neill.
Well, he starts today as a COVID-19 senior advisor to help hospitals get the supplies that they desperately need. Commissioner, good morning. It's good to see you again.
Hi, Savannah. Hi, Hoda. Good morning.
Well, you've been called out of retirement, and it's for an important duty. What do you expect to do on behalf of the city, and what is the greatest need right now as far as you're concerned?
Yeah, okay. So maybe not exactly out of retirement. I'm still working for Visa. I'd like to thank Al Kelly, the CEO, for giving me the opportunity to come back and help out the city that we all love. So the mayor and I spoke yesterday morning. I told him that whatever he needed me to do, I'd love to help out the city. And he asked me to make sure to look over the supply chain for emergency medical equipment. So that's N95 masks, surgical masks, gowns, ventilators, goggles, face masks, face shields, whatever we need. So the biggest challenge is going to be sourcing right now. But I'm assembling a great team. People that I've worked with in the past, and I know, New York City has faced a ton of challenges in the past, and we're going to meet this challenge.
Commissioner, that's a tall order what the mayor's asking you to do, because I think he just said that New York City may run out of a lot of that equipment by this weekend. So how do you make sure that hospitals are stocked, given just how in short supply everything is? Yeah,
and Hoda, that's the challenge. And with this team, we're not going to be stationary. We're going to have people going out to all the hospitals, the not-for-profits, New York City hospitals, all the healthcare systems. We're going to be connecting with the people in the hospital to see what they have, see what they need, see what we're sourcing. We're going to look at sourcing, transportation, distribution. So it is a complex issue, but the people that I'm going to tap, they have a history of dealing with complex problems.
We've seen this field hospital being set up at Central Park, which just is a scene that never fails to stun. And I'm sure as a New Yorker, you feel the same. And then you've got the hospital ship, the Navy hospital ship, posted off the west side of Manhattan. And all of that is for overflow capacity. Do you expect that you're going to start having to move people from the New York hospitals into those overflow hospitals?
Well, that's just it. We can't just think about today. We have to think about what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen next week, next month, and this is all part of the planning process. As the governor may have said many times, we have not hit the apex yet, so we have to make sure we have as many options and alternatives as possible.
Commissioner, the police department's been hit pretty hard by this virus. I think 15% of the force is out sick. They said 1,100 officers and civilians are out. We have to make sure that our police department is beefed up. What do you say the right thing to do is in this situation?
So just think about the size of the New York City Police Department and think about the leadership that's there now. Dermot Shea is one of the smartest people I know. He's got a hardworking executive staff, and all 55,000 members of the service are going to step up and do the right thing to keep the city safe. When they do that, though, the city has to make sure we keep them safe. So we have to make sure they have the right protective equipment, the right protocols. There's 36,000 uniformed officers. Right now, I think there's about 5,000 out sick, which is a huge percentage. But there's the Detective Bureau. Dermot's got this all figured out. This is we plan constantly. That's what I did. That's what he's doing. That's what Bill Bratton did. This is part of being in that leadership position to make sure you can do as much as possible to keep the city safe.
Well, former NYPD Commissioner James O'Neill, who answered the call. Yep. Really appreciate your time, appreciate your work on behalf of the city, and good luck to you. It's a big job.
Thanks, Savannah. Thanks, Hoda.
Thank you.